It's LaNée Javet, CEO and founder of Closire.com, the head mogul in charge of Mogulvation. And I thank you for tuning in to today's Mogulvation TV. Today, my guest is Duane Draughon. I was introduced to him via an article that was discussing Black entrepreneurs not necessarily putting their Black card forward. And I put this post up on my Facebook page, and we got a lot of activity. And so I reached out to him and said, hey, can we have a deeper discussion about this? And he agreed. So we're going to dig into that article today. Mr. Duane, if you don't mind calling you Duane, thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time. Before we get deeper into our discussion, I'm going to read just a couple of paragraphs from the article. So if you guys did not see this article, I'm going to read a little bit of it so that you can get an idea of where the conversation is going to go today. So this was published on April 14th in the Chicago Tribune by Ms. Cheryl V. Jackson. And it reads, in growing his patio installation company, Duane Draughon erased all clues to the public that he, a Black man, owned the business. That meant no photos of him or his family on his website, giving potential customers the impression the business was part of a franchise and that he was a project manager, not the owner, and recruiting a white insurance company representative to conduct job interviews and assembling his white sales team. The covert tactics helped him to build more than $6 million over 9 years to a white clientele he perceived as racist, as he often encountered potential customers who slammed doors in his face or refused to allow him in their homes, he said. I never said I wasn't the owner. If asked, I would admit it. But I always said I was either the project manager or a designer, he said. Draughon is among entrepreneurs who feel compelled to conceal the fact that their businesses are Black-owned for fear they will lose patronage, either to misperceptions that the products or services are only for Blacks, or to racial biases on the part of potential users. Some entrepreneurs leave their photos out of websites and marketing materials. Others give the impression that their white employees actually own the operations. Draughon closed his construction business and moved to Naperville to start VizX Design Studios, landscaping design firm, in 2014. After about a year, he became comfortable enough to reveal himself as the owner. And we'll stop there. So that's the article that started a decent amount of debate on social media that caused me to reach out to Mr. Draughon because there's a lot of back and forth in a couple of different groups that I belong to where I posted this article. Some agreed, some didn't agree. So we're going to kind of go back and forth on the pros and cons, the ups and downs, what worked, what didn't work. Now, I know that there was some information that was not shared in that article that you've relayed in one of the messages. I think it was on my fan page, Mogul Motivation, where you said there was a lot that wasn't said in the article, right? It wasn't just clients. We were harassed by the police too. They came in our office with guns the first day we moved in. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I got to figure. I don't know how to turn the Do Not Disturb off. A call came through. I'm trying to stop it.
Okay, no worries.
I apologize for that.
I'm like, where'd it go? I was on a roll.
I tell you, to go further, there's a few things that was said in the article that wasn't correct. I didn't deem every client to be racist. And I think the way it was worded made it look like that I said these people were racist. And I wasn't deeming everybody to be racist. A lot of it was, and I didn't hear everything that you finished on because I think the call came through, so I'm just kind of going to add in a little bit. A lot of it was the fear of the unknown is what we saw. There's not enough Black people in the lawn care landscape industry. And so what happens is if a client calls up 6 companies, 5 white guys show up and 1 Black guy show up. They're not necessarily going to sign with the Black company unless we show them that we're almost a god in the industry. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of that we had to, like the website was amazing. I mean, we pretty much had the biggest and baddest, best website that you can possibly have known to man in the city. And a lot of companies had to follow to catch up with us. And for almost 2 years running, we were the largest outdoor living paver patio company in the city. And even the suppliers didn't like the fact that we were spending $200,000 and $300,000 a year buying material. They would try everything in their power to give business to everybody else, and it just still couldn't work. Like, we would walk in there, and they would treat us as if, how in the world are these guys getting business? I mean, they called me Slick. I heard names of Slick, or they would always ask me, how are you guys doing this? It was always, oh, I'm very impressed that you guys are buying this volume. One supplier we went into, we had a meeting with the vice president because at this point we were 200 strong for the year, and I think I wanted first delivery trucks. I wanted everything. I had a list that I wanted, better pricing, everything. And the vice presidents looked at us and said, "What do you guys want from us?" Just like that. First, as soon as we walked into the meeting. So we actually packed up and went to another supplier who took care of us like glass. The president of the other company took care of us very well, but even the employees and staff could not stand the fact that we were doing what we were doing.
And we get that a lot. I'm actually looking for a comment. Okay, here's one. So when I spoke with you before we got online, I told Mr. Draughon that this dialogue is going to be more so based off of comments, whereas usually I show up and I have like a set, I've gone through and I've documented the question I'm going to ask. I'm really going to play off of the comments that we already have. So what you were talking about was sometimes people show up and they see a black business or a black business owner. And they're like, well, how do you have this success? How can you possibly be the person that's running this business? And one of the comments that we have here was said that it says, this is from CJ Garrett. He said he watched his friend go through this pain in Houston. As long as companies knew he owned it, they didn't even so much as acknowledge him when they met him, or they constantly questioned how he thought up the idea on his own, as if we can't comprehend our own businesses and come up with strategies. He changed his business cards and hired a white woman to be his front sales lead. Everything changed practically overnight. Why do you think, and I don't even know if this is a question that you can answer per se, but why do you think, or why did you feel as if people didn't expect you, a black man, to be successful in that industry?
Well, yeah, I think it has a lot to do, and this is going to get me some backlash probably, but I think it also has a lot to do with us as a culture too. And not 100%, but we have, if you look at comedy, they laugh about having bad credit, and we relate to that. We laugh about not having adequate lifestyles. We laugh about being broke. We laugh about having bill collectors call us. So it's somewhat of a standard that we're portraying. And then we're pushing out there that the only thing that the only person who can make it in our community is a basketball player, a sports star, a movie star. So seeing a black businessman is just not, it's just not heard of even in our community. We don't even respect our own business people. And so then how can we expect the white counterparts to respect us either?
That's actually a good point. And I knew these comments, they're so on point with this conversation. I'm just trying to find the right comments that go with what you say. With regards to us seeing our own value, right? So one of the big conversations that's happening in the black community right now is, if we don't respect each other as business owners and consumers, how will anyone else? So if we don't add value to our products, if we don't show up and support our businesses, how is anybody else going to support our businesses? This in particular comment is more so relative to the $1.2 trillion that's available that we don't spend with each other, right? So in order for a business to be successful, you do per se have to go outside of your race in order for that to be successful. This comment says, white people, even the ones who are not racist, support their own. It makes sense for black bosses to capitalize on this fact. Very few of our 1.2 trillion stays in our community, so it stands to reason that at this time, every black-owned business cannot thrive solely off of the black dollar. Something I have noticed, however, is that black people who have perfected the art of making white people feel comfortable, not me per se, that's the comment, are a lot more likely to get their patronage. Deshaun Tellers wrote that. So to tie that into what you said, as an entrepreneur, if someone, in the white community feels more comfortable doing business with you, you would in turn do business with them. Whereas if black people, unfortunately, black people don't feel comfortable doing business with black people. And so you kind of, do you feel like you have to make your business more user-friendly across the board for everyone?
I don't know. That's going to be a hard one to answer. It's not that black people. I'm not a person to say, okay, a black person needs to support a black business and a white person needs to support a white business. I think we all need to support all small businesses. We just let's see what the best way to say this, because this one has me stumped. Our business is, especially the outdoor living paper patio business, it was a very high-end ticket item. Our average project was in between, at the time, $10,000 to $25,000. Our black counterparts, we're just now getting online. I mean, as a community, we are just now getting somewhere. So the first thing we want to buy is, once we buy the house, we want the nice BMW and the Benz. I mean, it's our first win. So you can't fault our people for it, because I did it too. The moment I made some really good money, I went out and bought me an Audi. You know what I mean? I bought my wife a brand new GMC Acadia. So we bought this big new house. And we had to buy the material first, because we've always looked at it and we're staring at it like through a window. We've always wanted it. Our product was your second win. It was a 20. You had 25,000. You had to have it in cash, or you had to get a bank loan or finance or credit cards for it. So most of our black counterparts, they didn't have that type of money for that business. So I wasn't really expecting support from my own people. I wasn't expecting that. What I was expecting is a sort of love for success, and I think this is another thing that we have to worry about. We have to love our brothers and sisters regardless of what position they're in. If you're making $40,000 a year and your brother just got a job for 60, I have to be happy and love him for that, and make him and help him excel, because the more he excels, the happier he or she becomes, and the more we can all excel. That's another thing that's missing in our whole thing. We have to kind of help each other. If you can't support my business, let's help my business. If I can't support your business, I will do everything in my power to help your business. I mean, as where we built this business to, I become a mentor to other business owners. I have about 10 black business owners that I consult with on a weekly basis. I have 3 of them that we have Monday morning sales meetings, and we make sure that everybody's on track, everybody's on task, and we keep everybody accountable for our future and where we're going. So I guess that's the best way to answer it.
So I'm smiling because in listening to you speak, I just heard you talk about one of the things that's very close to my heart, and that is Black economic empowerment. So you've taken your position as an entrepreneur, as an owner of a business, and then turned around and have given other Black people jobs.
Correct.
Okay. How many businesses do you own right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now, I just own 2.
Own 2. And
Yeah.
you use that position to employ others in the community.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay.
And
So I want to make sure we
design
point that
firm that I have, it's hard to hire because it's very low. I have very low employees. When we had the construction business, we had over 27 employees, and we tried to hire as many black brothers as I could. I took brothers out of the straight hood. I took some out of the prison systems, and I'm telling you what, and I can look back, every single one of those guys, I turned their life around. They're not hanging around Cousin Bootsy no more. They're not selling dope no more. Some of these guys have kids. They have wives. They have a family. They have nice jobs, because now they understand the value of a job in their life. I took every single one of them to the bank, and I got them bank accounts, and I made them put 15 and 30% of their check inside that bank account. These guys didn't even know how to cash checks before I met them.
Man, I love you. Like this is stuff I didn't even know. Like I'm just like I can't even stop cheesing because I'm so excited for what you're doing. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about strategy, right? So some of the people were talking about the strategy that you took in order to create revenue for your business. $6 million, right? $6 million, was it 9 years?
Yeah, it was 6.2 million, yeah.
So somebody said, Kevin Newell said, there is something called strategic planning. He used it wisely, successfully, and made a profit out of it. It's smart thinking on his part. I applaud the move, respect. So some people get it. So my question is, was it strategic? I know we kind of talked about survival of the fittest. So you had the police coming in there. It was almost life survival, but was any part of that strategic as well?
I'm going to tell you, everything was strategic and survival. Like I said, a lot of stuff wasn't mentioned in the story, but it gets really, really deep about what happened. Like, to the point where even though I'm out of it, I still think I may have to talk to a psychiatrist or something to kind of ease my mind to go through. And first thing is, my partner that I started the business with was a white guy. Okay. And he was getting away with murder. Like, I've never seen anybody sell the way he was doing. I mean, we would start a job in the middle of the job. He'd go to a client, say we ran out of money. He'd get more money from him, above and beyond the contract. I've never seen anything like that. He was a gambler, so we had to fire him. And my wife came in to run the internal operations. And then when I took over sales, we started seeing this weird backlash. Like, we would go to a client's house. They wouldn't let us in the door. One guy had me standing outside while it was raining, and he wanted to talk business while he was... I remember this like yesterday. He was holding his baby in his hand, standing in the door, pointing everywhere outside that he wanted me to work on, and it's raining. And I'm looking at him like, this is... I walked away, I started crying and hopped in my car and just said, I can't do this. Then I got hours of stories. A couple other times, I showed up at the client's house, and they told me that my company should have sent a picture and a bio of the rep who was showing up because I scared him when I showed up to the door. And this type of stuff was back to back. It was like it'd have been better to have a camera and just wait every single time somebody opened the door just to flash and say this is their face expressions. As we move further, we realize that we have to put a face to the operation because this is survival. We're spending tons of money in marketing and we're struggling. And we can say, hey, I want to show my black face and I want to be proud to be black. But if you're going broke and you have a wife and 2 kids and you're not surviving, it's not working. So we brought in the first white salesman and same thing. The guy got away with murder. I mean, this guy, as a salesman, made $30,000 just in commissions in 3 months. I mean, and he was not the best salesman in the world. He was kind of raggedy dressed, whatever. But because his skin, they trust him. It was ridiculously amazing.
Wow. I'm looking for a comment to that. I had one. Let me see right here. Okay, so here's some positive feedback, right? You market according to your target demographic based on your business plan. I don't think that we should hide who we are. Others don't. We just need to make sure our businesses are run properly so that all businesses can see the value. And that's TLYs. I'm taking these off as I read them.
And see, I saw those comments, and it didn't bother me because maybe people only speak of what they know, and they weren't in those positions to make those decisions and to run an operation as we did. We had bills, so you can't say I'm pro-black, I want to be super black, I'm going to show my face everywhere, and when you're not getting a business because of it, you're losing everything. So I understand those people, and I respect their comments. But until they're in the shoes, they'll make different decisions.
Absolutely. This was actually the one I was looking for. It says, I think it's a tough one because you go into business to make money. And with that, we'll do whatever it takes, morally, of course, to make that money, even if it means whitewashing your marketing. And I think that that's what people don't, I think that that's where the misconception is. I believe it is, if I'm wrong, please don't kill me in the comments, but I believe that it's Dr. Claude Anderson that talks about making money in the world, right? Even outside of the black community, making money globally, but spending it in the black community. So if we look at what Powernomics, that's what and I'm looking for the book like it should be on my desk here somewhere, but my desk is such a hot mess that it's not here. But anyways, yes. So if we think about it in those terms, I think that that's what you did. You started a business. It wasn't going down, the right. You initially had the white face. It went a certain way. He left. You stepped in. Business started taking a turn. You put a different face back up in front of the business. Business went back to booming. You created $6 million. You turned around and reinvested that by hiring other black individuals into your business, creating job opportunities for them, teaching them banking. So you basically you did Powernomics. If we think about it holistically, not just in the face that you put on the business, but how you use that model to create revenue, to set your family up, and then give jobs to other people.
Yeah. And here's my ego side kicking in. I actually outsold all the salesmen, and I even outsold my partner. The only difference about how I had to do this is I had to run more appointments than all of them. But even after we kicked our partner out, I outsold him. Even as we had our salesmen on staff, I would still pull them along throughout the month. I would outsell them throughout the month, but I ran triple the appointments than they did. They would run a few a day. I would run, look like my battery is dumping really fast. I don't know why, but I'm down to 10%. It was at 70 when I called them. I outsold them too. So there was a lot. It was just a lot more work that I had to do to sell. I had to learn how to speak a certain way. There's another thing that goes on in the community. I go to the barber shop and they're like, you're not black, or you talk like a white guy. And I'm saying, hey, if you sold products to a Chinese person, you'd speak Chinese. I'm selling my products to a demographics of business white people. I have to talk this way.
So you have to talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. You have to be able to sell the sell. Like all that goes into place. So I am a firm believer that we are at a place where we can't just stand on black business, right? So we have to be business owners who happen to be black. We can't just say, I have a black business, support me. We have to do good business. and support each other, because we do good business as Black people, as Black business owners, but we have to also be able to do business with everybody.
Yes.
But keep to your model of do business with everybody, spend within.
Yeah, we just and our biggest thing is we just wanted a clean looking, modern style operation. Everything about the company was an operation. Like my friends couldn't call me to get a patio; they had to call the office. They had to go through the staff. They had to and a lot of times when my friends called me, I never ran the appointments. We sent the salespeople out. I had a strategic. I built. You know, I mean, after you build so much. I built a certain clientele that only wanted to deal with me anyway. And so I dealt with them, and then my salesman dealt with everybody else.
Yeah, I completely get that. That's kind of where I'm at in my business right now too. When you build a business and people, here's the beautiful thing. Once you do business a certain kind of way and people expect a certain level of business, they don't care if you're black, yellow, purple, green, white,
Yeah.
pink. They want to do business with you.
That's what's going on now. In this new company, I'm an outdoor living designer. And because a certain style and how I deal with these clients, I get paid to fly all over the United States of America. I mean, so I have to pinch myself sometimes because I cannot believe it. It was a goal. I wrote it down. I believe in goals. I did write it down. I wanted to travel weekly to design, but it was kind of talking trash. Go like, yeah, yeah, yeah. If this happens, and now, and every single week, twice a week, I'm on an airplane going. I just got back from Texas. I have clients in California. I got clients in Florida. Florida Keys. I'm actually on my way to the airport right now. I park and talk to you, heading to Raleigh, Durham. And then I leave Raleigh and actually go to Columbus, and I have a project there, and I come back home to Chicago. Next week it's Vegas. So it's just constantly going on because people want to do business with me now because I've built past that whole racial sector and of who I am. So I love that part.
I love you. Like I can't even stop grinning. Like I'm just, you know, you read an article, but you don't really know what that person has gone through, their passion. And in reading that article, it can be misconstrued. Like everything that we talked
Yeah.
about, like learning this much more about you has completely gotten me excited and on fire for you. I'm going to be praying for you. Like, oh my God, let this man continue to do these great things. But you
Yeah.
hit on some things that I preach on. Like my platform, which is Mogulvation, it's built on planning, strategy, and operations. I don't
Hmm.
feel that entrepreneurs spend enough time in their planning. We definitely don't strategize and we don't prepare for our operations. Most of the time, we do a lot of manual operations. We never get to a place of automated operations. So a lot of times people just spend their time running behind their business. How important was strategy for you?
Well, it's very important. We actually hired a business planner. His name is actually Egbert Brown, and he recently just passed away like a week ago. I call him my business father. It was very rare to have a black business planner, and he was a black guy, and he was that black guy who's made it past all the racial barriers, and he was kind of forceful with it. He told me, "Hey, grit your teeth. Don't take anything they say, and I just want you to go out there and go do it." He made me go to meetings and things like that, like networking events. And he said, no matter what they say, they're broker than you. Don't worry about it. Just keep pushing forward. But he wrote our business plan. He strategically planned our finances. There was a time when we had a little over $80,000 or $90,000 in the bank, and we had no clue what to do with it. And he was the one who helped us put it in the right areas, and then he helped us grow more and more and more. And so my wife and I were able to build the business a lot stronger. But that business planning was key. We actually met with him almost once a month, and we had phone conversations, email conversations with him almost daily.
Yes.
He was like a mentor, lawyer. I mean, everything to us. But we could not trust anybody but him, and that was the other thing too.
I think it's very key. One of the things that that I don't want to say I'm struggling with, but one of the areas where I find it most difficult because I specialize in dealing with black businesses. Like that's my passion. My heart bleeds for the black community, for black
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, for black small businesses. And we preach a lot on branding and marketing and advertising and getting money, but we don't talk enough about strategy. We don't talk enough about operations, and we don't talk enough about business planning. And I feel like that's where we run into some of our biggest obstacles. We're not prepared for what comes with business. We don't have
Yeah.
a strategy for how to get to the next level. And then when we get to the next level, if we've grown, we don't know how to deal with that growth. Or we have this much money sitting in the bank and we don't know what to do with it next. So
Hmm.
I think that operations, that strategy, that planning, it's so key, especially in our community, and just trying to get business owners to understand that there's steps to this thing, right? There's planning.
Yeah.
There's things that have to take place in order to be successful. It doesn't just happen. You don't really, I mean, you don't really just, there's no particular door you open and success is on the other side. You have to prepare for it. You have to have an accountability partner. You have to have someone that's going to strategically be there to talk you through these things. When your partner left, the business could have went with him. It could have failed, but it didn't. You strategized. You came up with a different plan, and then you were executed on that plan, and here you are today.
Yeah, even the whole business was somewhat of an accident because my partner and I are both car salesmen, and he actually was a way better car salesman than me. He taught me how to sell. I was selling like 8 cars a month. He was selling 27, and by the time he taught me, I was up to 18 and 20 with him. And we got sick of it because we were like, we're selling these cars for 40,000, and if it's a basic deal, we get $100. Like, this is insane. So we started the company, the Paperstone Design Group, with actually $18. And with the $18, people asked me, we went to Starbucks and got some coffee, got a pack of cigarettes, and smoked and talked and strategized. That's what we did. The first year in sales, we had over $300,000 in sales, just because we were relentlessly pushing. We pushed a car sales mentality onto our business. Like we just sold, and it was all about sales to us. I don't know when this thing is going to cut. I think it's going to be down to 5%. I don't know why it burned its battery so fast. I'm actually trying to look for my charger, but I can't talk into it at the same time. You're right. This is live. This is business.
This is what this is how we do. We're on the fly.
Yeah, I'm racing to the airport. I'm looking for my charger.
I'm on the side of the road, LaNée. Let's get this in. And I think we've done a great job of covering the bulk of what I wanted to talk about, which was the article, which was going over that conversation of whether to put a white face on. We talked about economic empowerment. We talked about how to strategize your business so that you can turn around and do things that empower the community and hire within. We talked about the process of business. We've covered a lot in this small amount of time, and so I will not keep you. I know you are on your way to the airport. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk to me. I've actually gotten to learn way more about you. Like I'm so intrigued. I'll probably try to get back with you again another time later on and just talk some strategizing tips. Maybe, I'm not sure what, but I'll bring people back. Do you have any social media or anything that you like to share with people that might want to keep up with you or follow you?
Oh yeah, we have a huge following. I'm a designer for Ahmed Hassan from Yard Crashers, HGTV Yard Crashers. So the both of them, him and I shoot video all day long, and mine is Duane Draughon. That's my Facebook page, and then my other one is VizX Design Studios. They can link up on that one, and there's a lot of activity that we do on a daily basis. Like we were just in Texas, and we shot a massive amount of video. Like we're always clowning, joking, and doing stuff like that. And we're looking at some production companies to kind of pick up a show again. But now they're going to come in with 2 black faces and with a whole bunch of we're just clowns. I mean that's just one thing about brothers. We know how to tell jokes all day long. I guess that's what we do, and it's natural. It's nothing scripted. It's just normal.
It's just brothers being brothers.
Yeah, that's it.
Once you get into your authentic space and you're cool with who you are, everybody else is cool with you too.
That's actually key. We can talk a whole other thing on that one. When I was doing business in Ohio for so long, I was never my authentic self. I did not even know who I was authentically. I did not know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I moved to Chicago to build this business, and it was Ahmed who told me, stop hiding behind the business, show your face. You are okay now. You're in Chicago. You're safe. You can come out. I did not even know that I knew I was silly hanging around the house, but I didn't know I was silly on the other side. I didn't even know my laugh. Like, I have this laugh that I can't reduplicate, but it's funny as heck. I didn't even know I had that laugh. I didn't know until I opened up and I was able to free myself from the chains. And I'll let you guys in on this one. The reason why we left Ohio, the last 2 years of business, the police had always harassed us. We had a contractor who said we bounced a check with them. The check did bounce, but we paid it within a week. Well, we never took the canceled check from them. A year later, the contractor, after we fired the contractor from a job, the contractor went to the police department and said we wrote a bad check. They came into the office, we wrote a report, we showed them everything, we showed that it cleared. We also showed them that he made another $68,000 from us. They prosecuted myself and my wife for 2 fourth-degree felonies. They got me for conspiracy, and they got for theft. They got her for passing bad checks and theft. After $23,000 and just the I didn't even sell drugs in my life. Like I didn't do any of that bad stuff. I had a very good upbringing. Like I couldn't even believe we were in this position. After what happened was we beat the case. The judge knew something was funny. He didn't allow it. He didn't allow them to treat us foul. He didn't allow us to treat us anything. And everybody said this is the most racist judge in town. And he threw the case out. And in the court case, he actually said that this was ridiculous. And he brought up a story. He used a legal term for racism and basically telling the prosecutors, don't ever do anything like this again. You just went after a very good group of people. Well, after that happened, I had enough. We had a brand new house. We walked away. We shut down the business. We left the house. We just walked away and moved to Chicago. And that's the reason why we had to come here to Chicago. Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane.
Real life. This is real life. Not scripted, not TV. This is what's really happening across the world in America, in Black households, families, for businesses and entrepreneurs.
We tried to reach out to NAACPs. It wasn't enough for them. Nobody was shot. Nobody was. And these are the things that go on all the time that the news don't speak about. And like I said, that's why I don't get upset when I see the people say, oh, he should show his face. Well, that's what happened when you move out. When you move your kids out to the nice area, you start making a little bit of money, you start showing your face. They come into our office with guns drawn. I mean, the chief of police is coming in wanting information of the owners who run the company. I mean, it was just a ridiculous amount of harassment. The police were driving through the parking lot on a daily basis, and the Chamber of Commerce in the city came over and walked into the office and asked my office manager, and first thing she said, what are you guys doing? Because we've never seen the cops in 3 years. I mean, she automatically assumed that we were doing something bad.
Intimidation tactics. Nobody wants to see us be successful, man. We are such a great people. We are such a resilient people. Nobody wants to see us get the fame, notoriety that we deserve. We are a powerful people. We are resilient. We built this shit. And nobody wants to see us reclaim it. And so they will do whatever they can to keep us from returning to our true state of power. Mr. Draughon, thank you so much for sharing your story, for persevering, for being determined, and for being successful in spite of everything that has happened to you.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
I so appreciate you for being
here. We have to
today.
do this again. I'm excited. We got to do this. There's a lot more to talk about.
Yes, I love your energy. Like I'm so drawn to you, Mr. Draughon. So we'll definitely do this again when you're not sitting on the side of the road, rushing to the airport. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody that watched this. Please follow this man. Like I am so intrigued with him and his story. I am looking forward to so many more great things to happen to you, for you, and with you. And I'm just blessed. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me today.
Well, thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mogulvation TV. This is LaNée Javet, CEO and founder of Cosire.com, the head mogul in charge of Mogulvation. Make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Facebook at I am LaNée Javet. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Javet at I am LaNée Javet. And I just wanted to leave a quick word for you today. Something for you to think about when you get down or you feel like you're tried.